Yeah, I mean, there have been these dystopian ideas of living in your own simulation, right? Especially when VR gets that technology, you can just create it, put on a
Yep.
VR headset, and you don't even need to go or do anything. Um, I mean, trying to figure out how to steel man this case. Yeah, I mean, there have been these dystopian ideas of living in your own simulation, right? Especially when VR gets that technology, you can just create it, put on a
Yep.
VR headset, and you don't even need to go or do anything. Um, I mean, trying to figure out how to steel man this case. I'm going to take a very, very probably unpopular opinion here, right? To your point about social media already being fake. If this becomes more mainstream and people actually realize that, oh, everything out there in the social media realm is fake, then maybe that gets people to question the reality of the things that they see. I don't know. I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt here, but it's like the slippery slope kind of thing is once you start to realize that things are explicitly fake, then everything you assumed before may come into question too. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I like if I were I'm not if I were on social media and I started seeing all these fake things, and maybe I'm like, okay, well, if everything I'm seeing here now is not real, then maybe that's just who I am.
No,
What about everything that was before it?
I think like it's really easy to talk in generalities for this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, but the reality is going to be certain segments of the population are going to adapt and not. And what I think the reality is going to happen is we're going to be doubling down on the segment of the population who's already kind of struggling, who's already addicted to video games, who's already addicted to online gambling, who's
Sure.
already addicted to social media. And then it's going to pull more people into it. So the people who are like, oh, the Instagram isn't really my thing. Well, as soon as the algorithm figures out what your thing is and then starts literally creating
Hmm.
on demand your reality, that's going to be really appealing for a lot of people who aren't really into it today. And so I think I kind of see two paths. I see the path where everybody just goes on the internet and just knows that it's like this totally fake world. I see people that'll just outright try to avoid it, like Luddite style, and that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I think what we don't know and what is the most concerning to me is we don't know how humans are going to adapt to this. Like we are very adaptable. So like our generation has grown up with no internet and now the internet of the world. The generation before us didn't really do internet, doesn't really know it,
Hmm.
has kind of tolerated it. The generation after us is basically doesn't know what the world is like without it.
Without AI. Yeah.
The generation without after them has no idea what the world's like without a screen.
Hmm.
And now we have a new generation, I don't know, whatever's after alpha, beta, that is going to be in a world where, content on demand content generation is going to be a thing that is just normal. Like
Right.
going on the internet will just be like, yes, I want it to be exactly the way I want. And if I think we've learned anything in human history is that the ability for humans to manifest exactly their desires is nothing but absolute worst case scenario for everything involved.
So again, here's another very unpopular opinion. There definitely is a study, and I'm sure you know of this, where they implanted electrodes into certain parts of rats' heads that would pleasure the dopamine centers, and
Hell
the rat
yeah. And
could
then they gave them cocaine.
yeah. Basically, this idea of the experiment was if the rat was given the opportunity to constantly pleasure its set or constantly stimulate its pleasure center in its brain, it would do so until it died.
Yep.
Right? You could make the argument that that's a mouse. We are humans. We are better, quote unquote, better than that. I don't know if that's the right
Yeah.
term you want to use, but ideally, that's how we should view it. And if we are put in the same situations, I feel like many people would say I'm hoping many people would say they would not just sit there and stimulate the pleasure center of the brain until they died. I
Uh,
don't know.
okay. I disagree. I disagree very strongly.
Yeah, I said it's
I,
going to be an unpopular
yeah.
opinion. Probably wouldn't be strong. I don't know how much I could defend it
Well,
either.
and when it's like on surface, I think everyone's probably listening and like, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. The reality is that as the technology gets embedded in our lives, let me say it differently. If we were to be able to have a society where humans could grow up without technology, and then when you turn 18 you get like the internet and like technology as we know it today, I think there's actually a chance there. The reality is it gets embedded in your life, and you as a human now are effectively programmed by the technology, because the social media companies and the technology companies do everything they can to make this addictive to adults, which means we're now training children on those same technologies, which is now literally impacting their brain. Right. So now they're not only are you like changing focus and attention is going down because the phone is more interesting, and the 10-second clips or the 4-second clips are so much more interesting, and I can watch a million of them versus 10 long clips. So we've reprogrammed the brain. Whether or not you can reprogram it back, that's, I think, up for debate. It's a dopamine receptor problem at the end of the day. But now when you have kids who are just adapted in this ecosystem, they don't even have like a fighting chance. And I've talked a little bit about this, but like you get kids, you're at like a restaurant or something, and like the 2-year-old has an iPad and they're like watching some video. And like when I was a kid, we had movies and videos and TV and stuff, but like you had to go to the TV. And like, I think when I remember the point when like portable televisions were a thing, but like it wasn't really a thing. You'd see them every once in a while, but
Like one of the ones with the long extendable antennas.
yeah.
Okay.
And like, portable game machines, came out, I remember the time before it and remember the time during it. But like, I know people who are not that much younger than me who grew up with the portable gaming machine, and that's what they did in the car. Like when I was a kid, you just sat there or you read a book. And if you couldn't read in the car because you got car sick, you were screwed. Right? Because you listened to whatever stupid music your parents wanted to listen to, right?
Yeah.
So that is a profound shift now of transit and travel. It's a very simple example. With AI, we take it another step further. It's like you're not even going on Facebook. You're not going on Instagram. You're not going on TikTok. You don't have to select. Like it'll literally just start presenting you as you like it. It'll be like, oh, you prefer red shirts to blue shirts, so you're going to see more red shirts. And this stuff kind of sounds a little insane, but it's what's going to happen. Now, I'm going to negate all of that with another rat theory.
All right, now, okay, let's go.
So there was another study on rat behavior, and it looks at basically social isolation. So it was mouse or rats, I don't know, don't at me, but they found out that if there's a thriving community and there's stuff to do, it's the environment that they're in is fun, they don't barely go use the substance. And I think it was also cocaine.
Yeah.
Some of them would use it, but the instances were, magnitudes less. And what the conclusion was that, in a pro-social environment, you're much less likely to use substances that disengage you socially. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping we don't have to destroy a bunch of people in the process to figure this out. But what I'm hoping is that people will very quickly start to learn that everything on the internet is fake. And that's like the, entertainment realm. And I'm going to go back to doing things with people in real life.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the whole touch grass movement?
Maybe people are doing it, but I think it's going to get so insane that like, schools, phones in schools have been a thing for a while. It's been a problem. They're now finally seemingly everywhere starting to mandate that you have to like lock away your phone or you can't have physical access to it. I think we're going to get to that point though, where it's like you go out to dinner and you go to like a fancy place, you're going to like not have technology around, or it'll be very limited technology. And I feel like it's a little draconian in the opposite way. Is like, if I want to have my phone at dinner, I'll have my phone at dinner. But I think that the self-control and impulse for stuff is going to be so great that I think we're going to have to go to what will not seem like an extreme measure in the future, which now seems insane.
Yeah.
And that's also what I'm a little worried about is we're really, and this is why, again, I don't think the tech companies should have a say in how we develop our society. We as a people need to develop our society the way we want it. And it's always hard to talk about supposed harms or theoretical harms or even obvious harms if you have the knowledge. But what I hope we don't have to go through the era of history where we have to learn this the hard way. Like realistically, I think we probably are going to have to learn it the hard way. But I guess I would just challenge folks out there to like start more proactively limiting your technology and really value in person as much as you can. And my ideal world in this is like, yeah, we'll have every kind of show, and there'd be the world's greatest TV show that you want to watch because it's going to be everything that you love and some stuff that you hate just to keep you engaged. But then you're going to go to the theater, or you're going to go to a comedy show, or you're going to go to a dinner with people or walk in the park, and you're not going to have the technology, and you're going to really value that time even more. And our society will actually flourish because we'll have kind of gotten past the internet is real. There's a
Hmm.
lot of real stuff on the internet. Like, I'm not trying to say it's all made up or disinformation or whatever. There's a lot of really great on the internet, but it's so intermixed with everything else. I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. I think we will have AI be able to kind of filter stuff a little bit better,
Hmm.
but I'm really, really hoping that we start rejecting technology in moderation and in certain instances, and actually rediscovering what it means to be human.
Well said. I agree with that. I think that's something that we pushed before on
Yeah.
this cast, just as a topic in general. Right? Take the agency, keep your agency, do what you need to do to make sure you maintain that. When
Yeah.
you're given information, don't just take it for face value. Do the research.
But
Um,
and I'm hoping AI gets easier. I think another gripe I have, we've talked a little bit about before too, is the algorithm or even the AI you're exposed to is again the choice of the company that's developing it or embedding it. We really need to get to the point where our society has algorithmic choice. So if you go on X, which is Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever service, you have the choice to get whatever kind of algorithm that you want to be exposed to. And the default algorithm needs to be as like bland as neutral as possible.
mhm.
And only then I think we're really going to start to see stuff shift, because the way the algorithm works today is it kind of funnels you into an understood grouping of people, and it kind of also keeps you trapped there. Like it's been really interesting trying to like make content on YouTube now, and finding that what should work doesn't, and what might not, what's something I do that I might not think works goes crazy. And it's really however you hit that pocket at that moment of time. And it's all what I'm finding myself trying to do is trying to understand the YouTube algorithms, because it's not that I want it to be super popular or famous or whatever, but the reality is if you want to grow the viewer base or the listener base or whatever, you have to kind of play these games, because it's not even transparent to me as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
as a creator on the system. I'm a volunteer for Google right now,
yeah.
right?
Well,
I'm
I
providing
mean,
content for them to make money on, and at some point I'm promised that I might make money. Whatever. I'm not doing it for the money, but it's indicative of this problem that there is no transparency into why a piece of content I will put out will just rocket ship, and why it will, and some won't, and some just kind of plateau. And
mhm.
it's all the algorithm, and it's I have to also think about, so the same algorithm that's recommending content to you on YouTube or whatever other platform you're on is trying to find your preferences, but it's also probably playing me as a creator, trying to incentivize me to create more content, right? And it's a
Yeah, yeah.
really strange game of mental gymnastics to try to like navigate this. Algorithmic choice would give you the ability to actually choose your own adventure. Do you want to see political content that's insightful or rageful? Do you want to see the political content about the stuff in your area? Do you want to see more cat videos,
Yeah.
right, or less cat videos? And right now you have to you're a passive consumer of the algorithm, and what I really want to see is people given the choice to be an active participant in that algorithm, or even better, to be able to choose for themselves how the algorithm shows, demonstrates, or uses the information that they're inputting for the outcome.
Yeah, there are a few points I wanted to bring up. Like one, at least the problem with feeding into the algorithm, I think a new problem. I feel like this is something that many people
Yep.
in the music industry have encountered.
Yeah.
Specifically, first thing that came to mind is Nirvana, not wanting to give in or quote unquote sell out.
Yep.
So it's a parallel to creating content that the masses want to see or get you the
Yep.
most views. So there is a creative dilemma there where you're creating stuff that you enjoy, but to make it more popular, you have to do certain things that you may not agree with. And
Yep.
what's the thing you do
Well,
there?
in Blue Sky, a social media app, some folks have discovered after Twitter was bought by Elon and became X, they kind of give you that ability today. They don't call it like the algorithm. I forget what they call it, but
Of course, they wouldn't call it the
I know, right?
algorithm.
They give you, yeah, they give you the option to kind of choose how you'll see the main feed, and you'll be able to, or you're able to kind of choose it. And then the thing I think is kind of cool, which makes it even more social, is like you can kind of share your feed with other people.
Yeah.
And so if I have a really great feed of like science or something, I can share that with other people. You can take, I can publish it and you can take it. So I don't think, and I'm not endorsing or recommending Blue Sky, but they're at least trying to give people the freedom and the choice to choose how they are interacting with the platform instead of being a passive consumer. And I think maybe that's just where my mind is right now, is that the marketing of the 60s and the 70s and even the 50s was really like training people to just passively consume. We've now created the ability for the digital consumption to be so good that no
Mhm.
human being can counteract it or even really understand it, let alone a group of human beings. So in some regard, we've created a super intelligence
Yeah, I
that,
was going to mention people may not even know how
yeah,
the algorithm works.
right.